You're listening to the Incomparables Total Party Kill podcast, in which a group of friends play Dungeons & Dragons on the internet for your amusement. This is episode number 239, posted May 2020. A most interesting bone ghost.
Welcome back to Total Party Kill. I'm your Dungeon Master, Tony Sindelar, and we return to the Dog and Pony Show here on Total Party Kill. I didn't say Tony Party Kill.
Tony Party Kill.
That time. Allow me to introduce our players in random order as provided by random.org.
That's random.org.
First up, it's Dan Morin. Hi, Dan.
Oh, convenient. Hi, I am playing Cast in Onatar's Crucible, or Crucible to his friends, a Warforged cleric.
Next up, it's Erica Ensign.
Hi, I am playing Bruldish, a dwarven paladin who just really wants to get into another fight.
Also here, it's Jane Ritt.
Hello, I am playing Lena Lena, who also wants to get into a fight.
Yeah.
Possibly also fight inclined, it's Micah Sargent.
Elivor isn't exactly fight inclined. Not in his human form, or his half elf form at least.
Mm-hmm. Nice catch. And last but certainly not least, it's Aline Sims and her imaginary dog. Hi, Aline.
I just want to go home. Imaginary dog, what?
Well, I mean, in the context, the dog is not real. I want to be very clear. None of this is real. None of this is real.
Tony Sindelar.
Okay, the dog is real to your character, but your character is not real. Let's not cross the streams. None of this is everything. Listeners, this is all fiction.
Do you open all of your RPG sessions with this preamble? So you know none of it's real. This is fake.
Way to set the mood.
I just want to point out, Dan is a writer. You can buy his books. All of that stuff is lies. None of that has happened. If you question him about it, he'll fess up. Right, Dan?
It's history.
No, Dan.
The future!
Okay. Anyway, we are here to play Total... Oh, man, why can't I say that anymore? Tuesday nights, everybody. We're here at Total Party Kill to play Dungeons & Dragons. Our adventure continues in the horrible, sad, dismal land of Barovia, where our heroes have found themselves trapped once again, or for the first time in some cases, depends on the character. Things are not great, but you have left Barovia, little Barovia, still totally trapped in big Barovia. You are on the road. You have stopped. You have had your fortunes read. You are traveling with Irina Kolyana, adopted daughter of the former Burgermeister of Barovia, little Barovia, who you believe you should take away from Barovia, little Barovia. Not getting hard to talk at all. Anything else that you want to remind yourselves about what happened last time here on Total Party Kill, Dog and Pony Show, Kurtz of Strahd? How many semicolons are in this adventure title?
Not
Full
enough.
colons, not semicolons.
Oh, fancy.
Ooh.
Wait, are there semicolons in Barovia?
To be determined. TBD.
It sounds like there's semicolons in Barovia.
Yeah.
So we had decided to make our way to, was it the
Downtown?
Drowned Village
Mm-hmm.
that we wanted to head toward?
Yep.
You
were
received a
hoping to.
variety of pieces of information from Madame Eva, who seemed to be kind of the de facto leader of this Vistani encampment, kind of on the edge of the village of Barovia. Not really even on the edge. A decent walk from the edge of... And she provided you with several somewhat cryptic in some cases, somewhat direct in other cases, pieces of information about where you might find resources or allies or things that would help you confront the devil himself. And one of those that you did kind of immediately kind of click to was that there was an object that you wanted to find in a drowned village. And some of you did know some information about that. So hopefully you've got your adventure journals open because you've got some information about, I believe, a source of knowledge, a powerful object for protection, a powerful weapon of strength and vengeance, and as well as an ally who will help you in your fight against the devil himself. So hopefully that sounds somewhat familiar both to our adventurers and to our listeners
heard of
at
any
home.
of it.
Yeah, I think we were going to go to a city, maybe Valaki. I can't remember which city for sure.
I think
and
it was
ask
Valaki.
around. Yep, and see.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And see if anybody had any information about a possible drowned city or any of the other things that we learned about. But that was the one that I was the most excited about because it's a weapon.
All right. So next stop is Valaki. So you have spent the night with the Vistani. There's been some singing and dancing, and you heard a long song about a strange encounter at Castle Ravenloft a year ago. And you've had a grand time. You've gotten a full night's sleep. You've awoken in the morning. The Vistani are, I don't know, what do Vistani do in the morning? They're rolling their cigarettes and prepping their podcasts and
Breakfast burritos.
I hear that.
Yeah, a lot of breakfast burritos.
Donning their
And they're-
Bomba socks.
Yeah, Mama socks, folding up their
Here, here.
Casper mattresses.
Mhm.
Putting them in their away suitcases.
Yep.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, were we being sponsored?
We have no
no,
sponsors.
amazingly by none of them.
Wow.
All free.
I believe our mistake is giving it away.
Yeah. No.
And Madame Eva is kind of waiting for you by the edge of the camp as you prepare to hit the road again. You know that there is a trail kind of leading north out of the Vistani encampment that will lead back to the main road eventually. She's kind of hanging out on the edge of the camp waiting for you.
Okay. Then I guess we head.
Yeah.
Don't-
who got the
don't
one
all
with her?
jump in at once.
I nominate not Elevor to talk to her.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't get along. It's fine. It
I know.
makes sense.
Good morning, Madam Eva. It's a pleasure to see you again. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
I wish you safe travels, and I just wanted to give you one last piece of advice that might keep you alive on the treacherous roads ahead.
Not that you care.
That sounds most welcome.
Trust the birds. She pats you on the shoulder, Crucible, and heads off.
That
Elevor
was
rolls his eyes
unusual
very
and unexpected.
theatrically. Trust
I
the
never paid much
birds.
attention to birds, but I guess I can start.
Everyone roll bird.
It's the word.
Crucible
Can I
is
roll
a birder.
insight to try to glean some meaning from what this nonsense that she's always spouting?
Elevor, please roll insight on
Elevor
Madame
has
Eva's.
no poetry in his soul.
Tony, is this a good time
Trust
to
the
mention that my
birds.
background is birder?
Is it?
What?
No.
Not even a
That's
little bit.
not a thing.
Yeah.
It's a custom
Oh,
one.
hold
I
on.
made it. Homebrew.
Oh God.
Just now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just whipped it up.
That's,
Dan's one of
uh,
those players.
3 plus 6, that's just 9. So not great.
You see, Elevor, you're a druid. Trusting bird seems like a great idea to you, right?
Yes, it does.
You've
I
been
trust
you've got
birds.
you are where you are today because of trusting at least one bird.
I don't need someone to tell me to trust birds. I already do that.
All right. Well, it's a good reminder for your non-druid comrades.
Totally.
So, it is dawn has fully emerged, and you think it's probably a good idea to get going, since one of the worst things that can happen to you in Barovia, Big Barovia, is to find yourself trapped out in the wilderness at night. So it's good to get going when the going is good.
Yeah.
Unless there's any other business you have in the Vistani village, they could.
I would say
I don't
saddle
know.
up, but I think we only have like one or two horses. One horses? I don't even remember.
One
I
horse
believe-
and a big dog.
Yeah,
One
you
horse
have
and a
one
big
dog, one pony, one daughter of a burgermeister.
Okay.
Mhm.
That is your.
And I foolishly let her ride the pony, which I didn't think about because I'm slow. But we're
Hmm.
probably not like racing through the forest, so it's probably
Yeah,
fine.
Let me tell you, you're not.
Okay.
So
All right.
follow the road.
Yeah.
All right. So there's this path leading from the Vistani encampment, and it, after a little bit of time, kind of slopes up into the hills, and you recognize the familiar sight of the Svalich road that kind of snakes through all of Barovia. It happens to join it right around a place where there's kind of a bridge over a river, the river that feeds into the pool
Troubled
the
waters?
Vistani were camping by.
Picture
So-
yourself on a bridge by a river.
I do try to do that often.
Yeah.
Like now.
I look
Let's all
around for
just
birds.
picture ourselves, shall we?
No, I genuinely look around for birds.
All right.
Are there any
Give me a
birds?
perception check for birds.
Is there a
Birdception
specific bird perception check?
Bong, birdception.
Wait, it's more like bow.
Yes.
Bow.
That's a 4. I'm pretty sure a 4 is not going to get me a lot of birds.
Brildish,
Yeah.
why are you looking at the ground?
Yes. You notice there are no burrowing owls at your feet, Brildish. And it's you can't even hear any birds, but there is there's kind of a sound of a waterfall here where the bridge is, so that's probably making it hard to hear any birds. So there's a nice stone bridge that spans the little canyon here. It does look like it's a good 1,000-foot drop to the water below.
1,000 foot.
Yeah.
Okay. I was picturing like a nice little, stone bridge, maybe a
Nope.
troll underneath.
This is Barovia.
There are no
Do
nice
there
little stone
appear
bridges.
to be any does it look like a well-traveled and solid bridge?
Give me a perception check, Lena Delina.
You said it's made out of stone?
Mm-hmm.
That is a 14.
It looks pretty sturdy. It's old. It's a little weather beaten. There's some gargoyles on it that have kind of had their faces kind of worn down, but it looks safe. And you remember crossing this bridge on your
Right.
way to Little Barovia.
Okay. So I was going to say, I get advantage on history checks having to do with stone. So, but I
Oh,
also just
yeah.
got a 14. Like this stone looks exactly as sturdy as Lena said. She's very smart.
Do I notice anything unusual given that it's Barovia? Like, I know there's a lot that's unusual. Oops, I just threw my die. Is there anything like unusual happening around that stands out?
What did you roll?
22.
You know what? I'm going to tell you. You and or Androdite notice. You actually hear. Even with the sound of the crashing water, you hear in the distance, quite a ways, far beyond the hearing of your kind of more mundane companions. That's right, take that, companions. You hear the sound of footsteps, particularly, you got like a 22, you said?
Yep.
Not just footsteps, hoof steps? Is that the right word? Hooves?
Hoof beats?
Hoof beats?
Y'all, I hear something coming. It sounds like hooves.
Something hoofy.
Is
I don't have any
it,
Could just
coconuts.
be
Is it
someone
Pony
banging two
Cinderlart?
coconuts together.
It is not your horse, which is currently not moving, standing next to you. And when I say horse, I apologize, Pony Cinderlart. I mean pony.
Yes. Well, I guess we should probably get moving.
Which direction are the hooves coming from?
Other side of the bridge.
Okay.
So, can I track them? Am I tracking these creatures?
I would say that you know that the creatures. The hoofbeats are coming from the other side of the bridge in your direction.
Okay.
Should we shouldn't hide. That's ridiculous, Brildish says. It was almost
You could
about
meet. You could
suggest
meet
hiding.
these people in the middle of the bridge.
No, that doesn't seem wise at all.
We will
I
have
may
to
be-
meet them somewhere.
I may not be smart, but I'm at least a little bit wise.
I have lots of ideas on what you could do. You probably only have a few moments to decide before whatever it is comes into view.
Let's go to
Hide
get to
five.
the other side of the bridge before these people come along, because otherwise we
Agreed.
could be stuck over here.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so you want to
Zoom.
scamper across the bridge?
Yes.
Sure.
All right.
Scamper.
You scamper across the, somewhat slippery, wet zone bridge and make it to the other side without incident. You can see the path kind of continues here. You are you've gone further up, so you're kind of up in the kind of mountainous parts of Barovia here, and the path kind of zigzags back and forth, and you can't really see that far in front of you. But I would say at this point, all of you hear the sound of hoofbeats, and it sounds just like a single horse kind of moving at I'll say a leisurely clop in your direction, and it's like about to come around the corner.
A leisurely clop.
Well, if I see someone, I'll say, "Hello, traveler."
Okay,
If
so
you see
you're
someone,
ready
say
to
hello.
action.
Perhaps
Yep.
this person will have more information that we could find useful.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
I do love meeting new people.
All right.
We know.
Lena's just staring at you like, where are you from?
Not here.
I don't understand where he's from either.
striding through the mist comes the sight of a horse, and you can make out the silhouette that there is a rider atop this horse. And as the horse kind of moves through the mist and comes into view, it is clear that the horse is a skeleton horse, a skeletal horse, if you will. And the rider sitting atop it is a skeleton as well.
Quick question.
I still say hello, traveler.
Is this the type of thing that happens on a normal day or a bad day?
Jane, canonically, there are only bad days in Barovia.
like would someone from Barovia be like a skeleton rider, or would it be like, hi Phil?
I think the normal people in Barovia never leave their towns for reasons like this.
Okay, so on alert.
All right.
I will say,
Broldish, let me just deal with the things that have happened.
Yeah,
Broldish,
you're ready to action.
Broldish, your ready to action was
To say hello, traveler, and wave.
the skeletal rider atop his skeletal steed. It's kind of hard to say. Looks at you with kind of empty eye sockets. He does not slow down. The horse is moving in your direction.
I just move off the road.
Does
Let
he
it pass.
have weapons?
Give me a quick. You don't need to do a perception check. He's close enough. You can see that there is like a sword in a scabbard on the back of this skeletal warrior, and he's got kind of a. And it's unclear how useful it is at this point. He does have the remnants of armor and a kind of a helmet.
Does it seem like he is coming towards us, or he is going down the road and we're in his
He's
way?
just riding a horse down the middle of the road.
So if we give him the road, he'll just pass us by, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That's
Mind his
certainly,
weapons.
certainly a thing you could do.
Also step to one side as
Mhm.
Broldish did.
I feel like
Okay.
if we were not in Barovia, I would probably be all about attacking a skeleton on a skeletal horse. But I recognize that this is a very different place, and the rules are different, and maybe that doesn't automatically mean evil. So as a paladin, I don't. These are not my rules. So I'm just going to step aside and not take the first action for a change.
All right. Let me just
is
check.
going to stay in Broldish's lane.
So, Broldish, you've declared what you're doing. Lena, did you declare what you're doing?
I am. I think willing to give him the road, but I'd like to pay very close attention to everything that he is wearing and holding. And if he goes for his weapon, I would like to be ready to attack.
All right. Imra and Androdite?
Would I know anything like, could I roll a history check or something? Or is this just like so far outside of my
Skeletons are part of history.
They're totally history.
Canon.
So I have advantage. So the undead are my favorite enemy. I
Wow,
feel like
you
this is
really
undead.
spec'd out well for Barovia.
Barovia, no, that
you
was
know
on
what?
purpose.
You know what you hate?
Mhm.
Forests and undead. You know what Barovia is lousy with? Forests and undead.
That's because this happened when we were doing Death House, and Dan helped me put my character sheet
That's okay.
together.
There's going to be like one session that's going to be swamps and werewolves, and where will you be then?
Playing the long
Undead,
game
baby.
on optimizing that character.
Yeah.
Swamps and Werewolves sounds like a great tabletop game.
That does in Barovia for sure. Okay, so I get advantage on intelligence checks to recall information about them.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, so would that be just an intelligence check? Would that be
Sure. Or history, whatever you feel like. I'll tell you different things.
okay? I'm gonna do a history. I rolled an 18 minus 1 to history. So there's a 17. Oh, or a 0. So I'm going to say 17.
Okay.
With advantage.
Or a 0. Yep.
Or a
good
0.
Choice. Good choice. Good choice. You study this rider carefully, and there's not really much to go on in terms of like distinguishing features. He does not seem like he has any kind of like livery like a knight might have, or symbols or whatnot. He does look like he is or was garbed and armored and prepared for battle or war, but seems to just be kind of peacefully clopping his horse down the middle of the road in your direction.
Maybe he's just going to that castle, like
as non-threateningly as a skeletal warrior atop his skeletal steed walking down the road in your direction could appear.
Yeah, I think I just want to, again, I'll also willing to cede the path and just be on alert in case something stranger happens.
Crucible, Elevor, do you have you weighed in on what you'll be doing?
Can I make a religion check?
Yep.
Is a 6.
Mm-hmm. A Crucible, you would know from your religious studies and your short time in Barovia that sometimes when people have unfinished work in life, all kinds of weird things happen. What is a skeleton but basically a ghost with some bones?
A bone ghost? Sure.
Bone ghost. In fact, you've forgotten the word for skeletons.
That is a most interesting bone ghost.
Because you rolled a 6.
I will sort of like make the symbol of Onatar as he passes, bless him on his way.
Okay, Elevor?
Yeah. I'll just hold my axe in front of me.
Do an animal handling check because it says I can intuit an animal's intentions. So just want to see if that horse is up to anything it shouldn't be up to, I guess.
Is it still an animal?
Stuff.
Yeah, the horse is in charge here.
Yep.
Yeah. Clearly the horse is the one.
Yeah, stare.
All
right, I will give you a glimpse into the soul of the skeleton horse. It's the thing I just said.
Let us see. Heck yeah, that's a 20. 12
you know
plus
what?
6.
No,
that's not a 20. It's 18.
18. 20's little brother. You look into the eyes of the horse and you just feel an emptiness and sadness kind of resound back into you. If this thing was presumably at one point an animal, but it has been so long since that was the case, and there's just really nothing left for you to connect with at an animal level there.
Darn.
And so the horse and rider, since you don't seem interested in picking a fight, they kind of clop down the hill. Clop, clop.
So they're going down the road that we just came.
Yep,
from.
They just passed. It passes between you. It's hard to tell. Maybe it's just kind of the jostling of the skeletal rider on the horse, or maybe he gives you each kind of a little nod. Hard to say as you pass. And the skeleton horse and skeletal rider head over the bridge to points unknown.
Thanks for being cool about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of getting used to it, I think, at this point.
Yes, we are very cool.
I'm pretty comfortable, actually. I'm almost warm.
Onward.
Okay, yes. And so we go.
And so you go.
Can we keep an eye on so there's really only the one road here. Can we keep an eye on those skeletal hoof prints going the other way to see if we can figure out where it came from?
Are there even hoof prints?
Would you like to look for skeletal hoof prints?
I actually feel like I might not be the one who's best suited to look at skeletal hoof prints.
Imra's really good at finding hoof prints.
Are we still in the forest?
Yeah.
Yep. You love to track.
That's me. So would this be a nature investigation? Okay.
I think it's usually survival.
Survival? The one, yeah.
Survival.
Survival is the one that has tracks.
Okay, hang on.
Which is all
I got to read my thing. Okay.
Identify signs that owlbears live
I do
nearby.
not get double proficiency for survival. So, but that's still 21.
It sure seems like there's they lead back. They lead off into the distance the way you're headed.
Oh.
So maybe we can just keep an eye on them if they veer off at any point.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Cool,
And so you decide to head on the old Svalich Road, and nothing bad happens, and the adventure just wraps up.
Okay, well, it's fun playing.
We don't know
never
where the
thought I'd say
skeleton man
this.
is going, but maybe we'll find out where he's been.
Eventually, you read a little three-way intersection here on the old Svalich Road, and I will tell you, you can see it looks like the horse footsteps go up the hill where the road splits. So you came from the south. The road heads kind of further to the north, and Lena, eventually it's going to curve more directly to the west. But there's a road leading. You can see it snaking up through the mountains toward that
The
castle that looms over Little Barovia, and indeed the horse footprints, the hoof prints, if you will, seem to have lead back in that direction.
Let's just go to
Towards
that
the
castle
castle?
and take care of this Strud guy now. What's the big deal?
Right. Why not?
It does look like you could simply head up this hill toward Castle Ravenloft itself.
And
I'm
your
not super.
doom.
I'm not superstitious, but don't say his name on the street.
Sounds like you're superstitious.
We should have a code name. Like
It's called
Stromboli.
Strudel.
It's called the Devil.
Strudel. Yeah,
Strudel
no,
von
it's Strudel.
Zarovich.
Strudel.
Strudel.
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
I am trying to evoke a very specific gothic aesthetic. I already allowed you to turn my Vistani into hipsters. What will you do next to?
Well, you know what we
Who
would do.
knows?
Very
We make a
gothic.
breakfast pastry out of your god.
Mm.
So, is this a gate up to our left?
Indeed, slightly to the road, and you would know this, Lena, that leads eventually to Valaki, leads through a large gate that you know that there are kind of basically this section of Barovia is kind of behind these gates. So these gates, I guess, in theory, are protecting Castle Ravenloft from Valaki. And what should I tell you about the gates?
Everything.
The gates. They're large, jutting out from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road, are high stone buttresses looming gray in the fog. Huge iron gates hang on the stonework. Dew clings with cold tenacity to the rusted bars. Two headless statues, woo! Two headless statues of armed guardians flank the gates, their heads now lying among the weeds at their feet. They greet you only with silence.
That's my favorite greeting.
Yeah.
From statues, that is my favorite greeting.
Are the gates open?
The gates are indeed open.
Okay,
Oh.
cool.
These are
Lena,
very
when you
nice
pass-
gates.
Lena,
And
when
in
you
fact,
passed
it
this
looks
way
like
before,
it would take a probably a decent amount of work to close the gates. It looks like they have not been closed in some time. So
I
there's all
see.
kinds of like rust and dirt kind of built up around them.
So
So
Lena,
you have a choice.
Lena's come through these gates before,
Yep.
though.
Yeah.
right? Okay.
To the left, the road to Valaki, the city that never is good. I don't have a catchphrase for Valaki.
That's actually
We're
what it says on the sign. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little signpost here. Or to the right, Castle Ravenloft and certain doom. Also, maybe that ghost skeleton guy's home. I don't know.
I'm not ready to face the strudel, but I would like to see the city that never is good.
Mm.
It's really
prefer-
not great.
I prefer uncertain doom to certain doom.
True.
Yeah.
Wise
Yeah.
words. I think we should stick to our initial plan of heading to Valaki.
Irina, who has been very quiet, nods her head enthusiastically.
Still quiet, but
Everyone who goes up that way to the castle, they do not come back.
Except maybe as a skeleton astride a skeleton.
Yes, I guess that way. But I mean, if you could call that back. So let's see.
All right. Through the
Just
gates.
looking up stuff. So you're not gonna go to Castle Ravenloft right now, you
Yeah.
don't think? Huh?
Level
sure?
6. Let's do it.
Plus, we have Arena here, and I feel very strongly protective of her.
Yeah.
And it feels like
Yeah.
it would be foolish to take her along to this awful place that we were specifically told to get her away from.
Right.
All right, and so you head west. Your heart's set on reaching the village of Valaki before nightfall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
I'm
the goal.
moving you along the map. The old Svalich Road transitions from being kind of this winding path through the mountains to more of a lazy trail that hugs the mountainside and descends into fog-filled valley. Lena, you would know that Valaki is, the land of Barovia is a valley, so the east and west sides are the most mountainous, and Valaki is in the center. There's also a large lake there that are kind of at the lowest points of the valley. So in the heart of the valley, you can actually see off in the distance. I'll reveal it. Why not? I got nothing to hide.
I don't believe that.
You have things to hide.
I have so many secrets. You can see far off in the distance as you're coming down from the mountains, a significant sized walled town near the shores of a great mountain lake. The water in the lake looks dark and still. And not too far ahead of you, a short ways off the road, you can see, looks like maybe a dilapidated stone windmill. It's kind of warped weather vanes kind of slowly rotating in the breeze.
There were a lot of windmills depicted in that awful house that we visited the first time we were here, you guys. I don't know if Imra and Elivor, if you remember that. So I don't trust these windmills. I'm just saying that.
I think if you, I forget how much you explored. I didn't run that adventure, but in your Death House adventure, which I did listen to, it seemed to be the implication that the people who lived in Death House. Why do people live in a house called Death House? It's just the name of the adventure. That's why. It seemed like their claim to money, such that they could build a fancy house in the land of Barovia, Little Barovia, was that they owned a windmill.
At least one, from what I could tell.
At least
they
one
had a
windmill.
monopoly on windmills all across the West Coast.
It was windmills and wolves all
Windmills
the
and
time.
wolves.
Also
all the
a
way
good
down.
tabletop game.
Yes. There's a windmill. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you want to deal with windmills or just
Part
keep
of
going.
me wants to go and
question.
tilt at it because I'm just annoyed by them.
Yeah.
A question about the windmill.
Yeah. Yes, Crucible.
What shape is the windmill in? Can we tell from here?
Yeah, is it operational?
It looks. You can tell just from here. It is dilapidated.
Would you consider
Like-
that a ruin?
Dan, let me just ask you like some. This is like a robot or
Some
not
probing
question.
questions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When does a abandoned building become a ruin?
And it's dilapidated?
I think pretty soon, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it's a ruin.
Okay. So my background, I realize this won't all be super handy, is when you enter a ruin or dungeon, you can correctly ascertain its original purpose. Windmill.
Yeah, Dan, I'm gonna give you this one for free from here outside the windmill. It's one of those windmills. They use them for milling with
And
the wind.
determine its builders, whether those were, and then it lists a bunch of races. Guessing human.
Yep, human.
I'm
So far, you
I'm
have
an
seen.
archaeologist.
I know. So far, you have seen the
This
population
windmill
of
belongs in a museum.
the population of Barovia is overwhelmingly human. Lena Delina, you may have seen a few elves in your travels,
Right.
but they are few and far between. Possibly the ones you would have seen would have been among the Vistani. But yeah, Barovia, very, very human. Too human, you could say.
But
I would say that.
As such, Crucible is still interested in exploring the windmill since ruins are kind of his jam, much like Moth Jam. I don't know. It's called.
Well, the people who owned the house that we investigated, like that was a Richie Rich kind of house. So like, maybe
Indeed.
there's a cache of sparkly jewels or something, or just creepy dolls.
There's always money
here.
in the windmill, is what I hear.
Or if we
Different
don't find anything good,
Erica, I love that level of optimism. Surely this horrible haunted windmill is full of money.
I've walked by this windmill many times in my years, and it has literally never occurred to me to go inside.
Yeah.
Well, you are
I
clearly
kinda just
missing
wanna-
out.
Surely this
I'm
unmarked white.
alive.
Surely this
Alive.
unmarked white van is full of candy.
Elivor sort of stands next to Broldish and is sort of like, yeah, I'm in.
I just want to burn it down, I think is what it comes down to. I hated that house so much that anything that's remotely related to it, I think, needs to burn.
I want to peek inside.
Perhaps we might investigate before setting it aflame.
Sure.
So, do you have a consensus that you want to investigate the
I think
windmill? You want to
so.
leave the road?
Yes.
There is the challenge that it helps that you stayed in the Vistani camp, but there is probably the challenge of making sure you get to Valaki before nightfall.
How far off the road is it?
On this map, I forget the scale. Trying to check. One
probably in
hex
a
is a
spot I
quarter of a
can't see.
mile, so it's like a half mile off the road. You can see it, obviously.
Oh.
So, it's a 10-minute walk.
What
That's not so
time
far.
is it?
I would say it's solidly noon. So
Okay.
you would have
Lean-
no trouble getting to Valaki, not just before night, but in time for. You'd be early for dinner, I'd say, at this.
Perfect.
Given
Okay.
your, unless you spent 6 hours in a windmill.
Plenty of time
Quick
to spend
look,
5
but-
hours in a windmill.
That was my first memoir, 6 hours in a windmill.
We can take a quick look, but then we've got to get going, gang.
Okay.
Zoinks. Wait,
All
that's the
right.
wrong
Is
podcast,
Irina
sorry.
is
Yeah.
Irina okay with this, or does Irina have some like weird fear of windmills that we're not aware of?
I mean, everything here seems awful.
Is there a
True.
phobia of windmills?
I do not fear windmills per se.
All right. Well,
She
you can
gets
certainly
it.
wait outside if you want with Pony Cindelart, if that would make you feel better.
I would feel better doing that.
Okay.
And so you approach the windmill. I believe I have a visual of the windmill for you.
Ooh.
It's going to be real spooky,
Is it going to look like a windmill?
It's just it's gonna look like a windmill, guys.
We'll
full of
see.
skeletons.
So
look,
the
it's a windmill.
windmill,
Pretty big.
it's got kind of a turnip shaped dome on top of it. It's a little tilty. There's pretty significant cracks just in the structure. I don't know what you call them. The blades of the windmill are not looking so great. It looks
It
like
looks dilapidated.
yeah, it's totally lapidated. Yeah. There is only one obvious entrance into the windmill, which is a doorway on the first floor. There's some windows that are decent sized higher up. There's also there's like a little cart parked next to the door.
Okay, I'd like to go to the door
Mm-hmm.
and just give it a quick listen. As you do. I'm going to take Androdite with me and actually
Could you
have her
give
do it.
me just a quick perception check as you approach the door?
25.
Okay.
Heck
You
yeah.
notice as you're coming up to the door, there is a raven perched on top of the doorway.
Trust it.
Oh, hey, look, a bird.
That could be any kind of raven. It could be the bird type. It could be the other kind. As the raven sees you, you see the raven, and the raven starts squawking. And Imra, it is like actively flapping at you. It's going.
Okay.
I think it wants a hug.
It kind of takes off. It's not flying at you, but it's kind of flying around you.
I don't
Elevor,
think-
Master Druid.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and work some animal handling here.
Bird, do you endorse this course of action or not?
Speak.
Answer the question.
one
So,
flap for yes, two flaps for no.
Elevor, I will tell you, you might want to do an insight check to determine what the raven is saying, and I will give you advantage because of who you are.
Well, thank you.
Who you are, what you
Aw.
stand for.
Ooh, hoo,
Yeah.
hoo, 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 hoo. Oh, so first I rolled a 19, then I rolled an 18, and I get to add 6 to that. So, take your pick.
Elevor, you feel extremely confident that the raven is warning you about entering the windmill.
Okay. Let me just see here how I'm doing.
Feeling some tension. Like, do we go in? Do we listen to the bird?
Maybe we just
We
burn
just
it down
supposed
from
to trust the
outside.
bird.
Try to go through this entire adventure without doing anything dangerous.
The just to clarify, the windmill does appear to be made of stone, which is not the most flammable of materials.
We already have a lead on like 4 dangerous places with valuable things inside.
I like how
None
you
of
guys are
them are windmills.
That's a good point.
Madame Eva just pops out of the cart and reminds you, let me tell you of your 6 future.
Wait,
I
trust the
seek
birds. Or
I
whatever
seek
they
a
said.
mill full of wind.
Yeah, she
And
said
there-
to trust the birds.
Trust the
Yeah.
birds.
She did.
Trust the birds.
Yeah, so if this bird doesn't want us to go in there, then I guess maybe we shouldn't. I'm going to kick it, though.
The windmill or the
no.
bird or the cart?
No.
The windmill.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Is this like an actively used cart?
Do you want to inspect the cart?
like with my eyes, not like, not like
You don't want to
Don't
just.
touch.
You don't want to taste the cart.
no.
I just pictured that cartoon moment where like the eyes come out and they're sort of like
Okay, so that is a crit and a 28.
Okay, so that was a crit. So it's it's a little kind of cart /
The cart
wagon that
comes
you would
to
use.
you.
I will tell you, it's not just any cart. You recognize the cart, Lena Delina. You as a group saw a strange old lady pushing this same cart back in Little Barovia. I think that was just yesterday. Feels like
Yeah.
weeks ago.
I like slap everybody
it
on the
looks like-
shoulder.
The cart is set up. It looks like it's currently empty. It clearly is. It looks like it was set up to carry some kind of baked goods on top. There's kind of a shelf.
Yeah.
It's still a little greasy. I think you recall there being some kind of paper bags on the top of the cart, and then there's kind of a large compartment underneath, which is empty. So
Yeah.
empty cart.
I say, Broldish, don't kick it. Don't kick it.
Okay.
Perhaps. So we know that she leaves to go to the city or the town, Little Barovia, whatever. Perhaps
Thank
we
you.
come back sometime that the cart is not here, indicating that she is not here.
It's
'Cause
always
I don't know what
Pastries, then.
I don't know what she's up to, but I cannot in a million lifetimes imagine that it is good.
Well, if there's one thing I trust more than birds, it's Lena. So
Aw.
I don't
What
know
a
if that's
morality
compliment
system.
or just sort of a yeah.
it's up to you to decide.
Yep.
Yeah, so I back away from I was about to go kick the windmill, and now I don't.
It's like,
Do, do.
all right. Yeah,
All right,
I
well-
don't think we should do this currently.
Perhaps,
Well, if I can't kick
I
this
mean-
windmill, we should go.
perhaps we should continue on to Valaki.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
let's go.
Valaki.
Val-
I don't know how
Valkyrie.
it's pronounced.
You're
Uh,
not from here any more than we are.
Irina
This is
says
true.
it's Valaki, or the emphasis is on the second syllable.
Ah, that's the third syllable.
Valaki.
Valaki.
No, I
That's
was
not
like,
how we say
Valaki.
it.
Valaki.
You said two
Valaki.
separate things.
Valaki.
Valaki.
Dan, I say a lot of things.
Valaki.
So you wish to retreat from the windmill?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not engaging with
Wait.
this side
Yeah,
quest.
does
at
it
all.
get an opportunity attack? If so, I need
It's
to
not. It's not a gazebo.
You are legally required to tell me if it gets an opportunity attack.
We're like 2 lines of code. All right, back to the world map. So you decide. Irina says, "This seems for the best. I will feel better when we get to Valaki. That you should head to Valaki, and so you make haste. It does not take you long to get within sight of Valaki. Valaki is very different than Barovia. It's a significantly larger town, and it is notable that it has it's a walled town. So there is fortification built up all around it, and you are probably only a few miles from Valaki at this point. Let's say 2 miles out. You can see it in the distance. Imra, I'm just going to assume, because we're always in woods, that you're going to be the first to notice everything.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep,
that
Imra,
seems fair.
you and Androdite once again sense that there's something coming in the distance, headed your way. Do you want to give me some kind of tracking perception thing for me to tell you how much you know?
Tracking perception thing. Yes.
While she's noticing this, as we're getting close to the town, Lena looks increasingly uncomfortable, and eventually she says, "All right, listen, I'm from here. I don't want to talk about it."
Fair.
You don't want to talk about being from here?
Correct.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's
so I
most
rolled a-
confusing.
Rolled a 19.
All right. You detect, you and Androdite, between you. I assume, he's got the ears, or maybe he's got the sense of smell, you got the ears, something like that. You detect that there is a good, I'm going to say 10 to 12 creatures headed in your direction.
Okay, so I can tell. Is that only if I'm tracking them?
From what direction?
From Valaki toward you.
Gotcha. I mean, it could be like guards.
Could be anything.
Could be more skeletons.
It couldn't be orcs
Okay.
because there's no orcs in Barovia.
Canonically, there are no orcs in Barovia.
They sound terrible.
They are the worst, and I go off on another 5-minute spiel about how bad orcs are.
Yeah. So
yeah,
if I'm
Imra, you at this point, like, there's 10 to 12 of them, and they're moving at a good clip, and they are
Okay.
noisy. You hear there's at this point probably the rest of you all hear like the snapping of twigs and maybe people talking to each other, and it's clear that there's 10 or 12 creatures about to come around the
Oh, maybe I get to greet somebody
corner?
who will greet me back.
there are a lot of them, and they sound armored.
Lena, does Valaki have any sort of militia or armed guards? Do you have any idea who these might be?
Lena, you would know that Valaki does have. Valaki probably has about an armed guard force of about 25. In an emergency, they could probably rally a militia from the commoners of a good 50
Right.
or so. It's a significant town.
I convey this and I say, I mean, it could be them. I'm sure they're making regular patrols.
I assume we have nothing to worry about. We have, after all, done nothing wrong. Perhaps we should just continue on our way.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I'm fine with
from
that.
around the bend in the path comes a group. It's 11 Vistani. You recognize them as being distinct from probably just the normal people of Valaki because of their colorful garb. And they are carrying torches, even though it's still pretty light out. And
Are they lit torches?
yeah, they one or two of them are lit. Some of them they're just carrying, and some kind of various like farming implements. They seem to be. I would say that
Like
they
pitchforks?
no, well, yeah, sure. I would say they look. This is not people who are storming the castle.
Okay.
You would say that this looks more like a search party.
Okay, so this is
How's
not
that?
also a lit
okay.
Their body language suggests they are looking for something. Not
Got it.
let's all go march up to Castle Ravenloft and die horribly.
We'll go with them if that was the case.
just to be real specific. So they look at you somewhat suspiciously.
Hello,
they're-
travelers.
Oh my god.
The lead Vistani kind of eyes you up and down and says, "Hello. Have you seen any children on the road?"
No.
None. We did see a skeletal rider, but that was some time ago.
My name is Emmerich. I am looking for a missing child.
What does this child look like?
Small girl, 8 years old.
Okay,
no.
that's great, but like hair,
Yes.
skin tone,
Yes, she had hair.
shoes,
Yes,
no
she
shoes.
had hair.
And
Never
skin.
mind. Clearly, you have not seen her. We continue on our way.
Where are you encamped currently?
Bruh, we could end up seeing this person.
We came from Valaki.
Well, if
Where was the girl last seen?
She disappeared. We're worried that she's wandered off into the woods.
Perhaps we could
Well-
help you locate her.
if you tell us a little more about her.
Do you have any belongings of hers?
She would have been wearing like a red cape.
with a hood?
No hood.
Oh, okay.
Did she have a basket?
We do not think so.
Okay.
What's her
I'm
name?
sorry. I cannot spend too much time here.
What is her name?
What is her name? Let me make sure I get the name correctly.
Valaki.
No, that's the name of the town.
Little
She could be
Valaki.
named after the town.
Little Valaki,
Little
yeah.
Valaki. Oh,
Named
little
after
Valaki.
the town.
I know plenty of people named Madison.
I know plenty of people named California.
I know plenty of people named Little Barovia.
True. My cousin's a little Barovia.
That's not polite.
Arabelle.
Arabelle.
Yep.
That's not the name of a haunted child. I mean,
What does Arabelle think of tiny bears?
We'll find out. So it seems like you're not going to the Vistani are going to continue heading down the road back the direction you came, looking for Arabelle.
what time is it?
I would say it's solidly a late afternoon at this point.
How many
So-
hours do we have
Wait.
before darkness?
I would say about 3.
we have to help. It's a little
Yeah.
kid. We have to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't see her on the
I'm
road,
interested in this
so
helping.
But perhaps we could cover more ground.
That's true.
Arabelle.
Especially if you split up.
We'll split up from the Vistani.
I'm going to try and convince him that we are worth enlisting in this effort and
Yes.
deserve a little bit more information.
Agreed.
Okay.
That's great.
Why don't you give me some kind of diplomacy or persuasion? What are you feeling?
That is 22.
I think we're feeling persuasive as well.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think.
I apologize. We're very concerned about her. We think maybe, she went off and got into trouble in the woods, and there are wolves about. It is not safe. I do not mean to be rude. We just we do not have much time to chat.
Understood, but the people in this company are skilled trackers and many have other talents. Do you know anything else about, did she have any fanciful stories that she might be trying to act out? Did she have a favorite place?
Let's see.
A treehouse, perhaps?
These are really good
What
questions.
was her feeling on puppies?
She hates dogs.
Oh, well, that's good.
Weird.
No, she. We keep mainly to ourselves. Our group lives on the western side of Valaki, and we don't go into town very much. They do not trust us. I'm worried that perhaps somebody in Valaki has done something to her or captured
Oh,
her.
no.
Oh,
But
no.
perhaps it was just the wolves.
Well, we would definitely like to help you if you are fairly certain that you're headed in the right direction. Then we'd be happy to accompany you.
We don't know. We sent search parties to the north, to the east, and to the west. This is the one heading east.
Ah, I see.
I wish I
Maybe
had-
before they go any
Understood.
farther, Imra could take a look at the road that only the four of us have, well, plus the
Mhm.
pony, have trampled, as opposed to like a group of a dozen people.
Mm-hmm.
I can try.
I say, my friend Imra here is excellent at tracking and looking at tracks and doing all kinds of things with tracks. And she's really good at that. So let's give her a chance to do that before you go any farther along this track, because then she'll be able to see better.
Mhm, mhm.
I killed Aline.
I rolled a 17.
Oliver is just sort of nodding his head as Brolda.
Imra, you seem confident that no one else has been this way other than you.
Okay.
And so you have not seen any. You've seen nobody else on the road, and no recent footprints anywhere between the windmill and here. So I mean, it's possible that she is not this way, or she is not on the road.
Okay.
But you
So
have
she
no
hasn't.
you have no reason to suspect that she is here. Perhaps as a tracker, it would occur to you that I mean, they're just searching, right?
Right.
Your best bet might be to find her tracks
Yeah, see where she
somewhere in
came
town
from.
or on the edge of town.
Mhm.
Sorry, which is not where you are now.
Okay. Yeah. So she hasn't been on the trail this way. Can somebody take me to where you saw her last? And then we can
Just
try to
one of
pick
you,
up her
yeah.
trail from there. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't want to delay your party, but
Yeah.
if there's someone who could help us
the
out.
Vistani seem, they appreciate that you've shared this information with them. Emmerich thinks about it, and he says, "I will take you back to town. My people, I think we will split up and search the woods here now." They start lighting their torches, because as soon as you leave the road, going into the woods of Barovia, Big Barovia, even in late afternoon, can be a treacherous affair. So they're kind of barking orders and getting ready to kind of split into search parties that are going to go into the woods. But Emmerich is prepared to travel back to Valaki with you.
Okay.
So
I will kindly remind the dungeon master that even when I'm engaged in another activity, I remain alert to danger while in the woods.
okay, you're in Barovia. Things are always
Everything's
a little
dangerous.
dangerous.
Right.
So Emmerich leads you to the edge of Valaki, the second town in the land of Barovia, Big Barovia. Walled gates, large wooden walls, and await you. And you see a strange sight. In front of the gates outside of the town of Valaki are many poles, long, sharpened wooden stakes, and atop each one, a wolf's head sits, dripping with blood. Guards atop the walls call out to you to identify yourself, and you have finally reached the town of Valaki. Surely, nothing bad will happen to you. To find out if Tony is lying, tune in next time to Total Party Kill.